Ronald William Howard was born on March 1, 1954, in Duncan, Oklahoma, into a home where creativity was as natural as breathing. His father, Rance Howard, was an Air Force man who'd already taken a stage name and dreamed of acting. His mother, Jean Spiegel, was an actress herself. When Ron was just 18 months old, he appeared in his first movie, Frontier Woman. That tiny debut marked the beginning of a life spent under the lights. By the time he could walk, he was already learning where to stand on set. When television shifted west, Rance packed the family into their car and drove to California. It wasn't about fame, it was about opportunity. He took bit parts in hundreds of films and shows, not for himself, but to keep his son close to the work. By 1960, 6-year-old Ron was Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show, and the nation fell in love with his freckled smile. His father wasn't just nearby. He was shaping the show's heart. When early scripts made the father-son scenes feel artificial, Rance told the producers they needed truth. Andy Griffith listened, and the relationship between Andy and Opie became a mirror of Rance and Ron's own. That honesty became the show's soul. For 8 years, America watched Ron grow up in Mayberry, balancing school lessons on set with long filming days. He never had real classmates, just grips, camera operators, and his dad nearby. The world adored Opie, but Ron often called those years a golden cage. He missed sandlot baseball and afternoons on his bike. In 1962, Ron played the shy Winthrop Peru in The Music Man. He was terrified of singing and dancing, but Shirley Jones coached him through his fears. His gentle performance helped make the movie a hit. Off-screen, he spent hours playing with toy figures, directing them through imaginary scenes. Shirley Jones saw something in that play, an early director in the making. His father taught him to understand characters, not just memorize lines, a lesson that became the backbone of his future career. By his teens, Ron was juggling rejection and responsibility. After The Monroes was canceled in 1967, he felt like he'd failed. When the chance came to audition for the Brady Bunch, his parents said no. They wanted him to have a normal adolescence, to go to school and have friends. That balance kept him grounded. It paid off when, in 1974, Ron became Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. His natural, everyday charm beat out 35 other actors. Audiences saw him as the boy next door. But by his 20s, he was tired of smiling through the same lines. While the real world faced war and protest, Richie stayed frozen in a simpler time. Ron wrote to the network asking for stories that reflected real life, but executives refused. That frustration turned into ambition. He wanted control, he wanted to direct. In 1976, he made a deal with producer Roger Corman. He'd star in Eat My Dust if Corman let him direct the next movie. The result was Grand Theft Auto, co-written with his father. It cost just over $500,000 and made $15 million, destroying 70 cars along the way. Ron was only 23, and suddenly people stopped calling him Opie. Around that same time, he married his high school sweetheart, Cheryl Alley. They'd met in Burbank, and he proposed on his parents' couch. When their daughter Bryce was born, Cheryl became the quiet strength behind Ron's whirlwind career. In the 1980s, his directing career took off. Night Shift in 1982 introduced Michael Keaton and proved Ron could handle studio comedies. Splash in 1984 was a breakthrough. The whimsical love story between Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah became a massive hit, launching Hanks's career and showing that Ron could make heartfelt, funny, and commercially successful films. A year later, he and producer Brian Grazer co-founded Imagine Entertainment. Their partnership became one of the longest-running collaborations in Hollywood, producing films and series that would win hundreds of awards and earn billions at the box office. In 1995, Apollo 13 cemented Ron's reputation as one of Hollywood's most capable directors. Determined to make the space drama authentic, he used real NASA panels and filmed inside zero-gravity planes. The realism came at a price. After months of 18-hour days, he collapsed from exhaustion and dehydration. When he returned, his crew greeted him wearing Mission Control shirts. The film was nominated for 9 Oscars and made more than $350 million, but it left him physically and emotionally drained. Not every project succeeded. In 1999, EDTV underperformed badly, losing millions and bruising Imagine's finances. Still, Ron learned to pivot. 2 years later, he rebounded with A Beautiful Mind. The film told the story of mathematician John Nash with emotional precision. Ron wanted the audience to experience Nash's delusions as reality, revealing the truth only when Nash himself did. The movie earned 4 Academy Awards, including Best Director for Ron. Yet behind that triumph lay regret. Years of obsession, sleepless nights, and the awareness that success often costs more than anyone saw. In 2006, he tackled the Da Vinci Code, facing controversy from religious groups that banned filming inside historic churches. His team had to recreate entire cathedrals digitally, an enormous technical challenge that paid off at the box office with $758 million worldwide. But the victory came during a period of personal loss. His father, Rance, who had been his lifelong mentor and appeared in many of his films, died in 2017. Ron called him the Depression-era farm boy who made my dreams possible. He followed with Frost/Nixon in 2008, earning another round of Oscar nominations, though the film failed to make money. Through all of it, Ron's home life remained steady. He and Cheryl, who had long ago vowed not to talk about work at dinner, raised 4 children. Bryce Dallas, twins Jocelyn and Paige, and their youngest Reed. Bryce followed her father into film, though Ron later admitted he pushed her too soon. When she forgave him, it was one of his proudest moments. His brother Clint, also a former child actor, faced darker struggles. During the 1980s, Clint fell into addiction, and by 1990 Ron had to give him an ultimatum: get help or lose the relationship. Clint chose rehab, and the brothers later wrote a joint memoir, The Boys, revealing their childhood under the glare of Hollywood. Ron confessed deep guilt for how his success had made Clint feel left behind. In 1991, while filming Far and Away in Ireland, Ron was away from home for 6 months. When he returned, his newborn daughter barely recognized him. That moment haunted him. He promised Cheryl he'd never take another long overseas shoot, though years later, Cinderella Man forced him to break that vow. At their 50th wedding anniversary in 2025, he admitted that missing so many family moments was his deepest regret. Cheryl nodded. They had built a lasting marriage, but the sacrifices had left marks. In 2020, Ron's Hillbilly Elegy divided critics and earned him a Razzie nomination, yet Glenn Close's performance drew multiple awards. That same year, he directed Rebuilding Paradise, a documentary about the devastating camp fire that destroyed his mother-in-law's town. He called it the hardest project of his life, spending more than a year capturing survivors' pain and resilience. His later years brought new challenges. After taking over Solo, a Star Wars story in 2018, he res-hot most of the film, only for it to flop.